Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Today, we're not going to be breaking down the midfielders. You guys have been absolutely demolishing the love, and that actually makes it sound like a bad thing. I mean, you guys have been indulging in the love, let's just say that, in the defense and the attack videos. Someone's literally just fired a gun. I'm just going to ignore that for now. We've made the videos building Chelsea's defence for 2020-21. We've made the videos building the attack. The midfield is the one that is baffling my mind, and I think I need maybe another day or so. Maybe that's tomorrow's video to really think about what I want to do with this Chelsea midfield. But because we're not going to be talking about that today, there are a couple of things that were brought up in the attacking video, such as number one, George, do you forget that we've got Ross the Boss Barkley on the books at Chelsea? I'm just gonna take a swig of coffee and eat a slice of humble pie for a second. I did completely, obliviously forget Ross Barkley in the video where we were building potential Chelsea attacks. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about Ross Barkley and the future I think he has at Chelsea, or that I'd like him to have at Chelsea. We're going to talk about the potential swap deal, which is mind-boggling in itself, with Juventus. Jorginho going back to be under his father figure in football, Maurizio Sarri, with Miralem Pjanic coming the other way from Juve. We're going to discuss that one. We're also going to talk a little bit more about Mertens. There's been a couple of developments there. And Bakayoko. I mean, let's start with this geezer, shall we? Tiémoué Bakayoko, for sure. It's a love affair that came with this. Which is a wonderful little clip recorded on a different phone to this one, but in the concourse in Madrid, away, the night when I got my famous tattoo on my wrist. Someone just shot a gun again. Flipping hell, guys. Can you relax? That is pretty much the best moment that he has had in a Chelsea shirt. However, we saw enough in Bakayoko when he was playing for Monaco for Chelsea to dip 40 million into their pockets, or whatever it was that we spent. It was a big sum of money for a player that we expected a lot of when he arrives. When a player comes in for big money, you expect at least some kind of return. With Bakayoko, I bring it back to when this channel was born here, George Benson Football Channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click the button and the bell notifications. I remember watching that game in Ireland in pre-season. I was doing a stream. And I'm not just trying to pick on him because he's an easy player to criticise because we're used to criticising him. The most simple of passes just elude him. And I don't understand it, because when I watch back the reasons why we bought him, when I see him in his first spell at Monaco, I'm like, this guy is good. This guy carries the ball very well. He's not like the biggest in terms of bulk, but he's got quite a big frame. And he pushes his way through, and he kind of glides through the middle of the park, and he can see a pass. But since he got to Chelsea, it's as if mentally, or maybe he's just not that good because it's the French league, something just wasn't clicking for Bakayoko at Chelsea. And other than the song, there aren't really that many memorable moments. We've seen red cards, we saw a couple of goals. I remember one at Huddersfield as well that I was quite happy about. It's never really clicked for Bakayoko at Chelsea. And when you've got teams like Paris Saint-Germain, obviously Bakayoko is French, PSG are interested, Monaco are also interested again, as are Nice, supposedly. You look at it and you think, you know what, if Chelsea can somehow manage to get Marina to work that joyous magic that she tends to do on a frequent basis, if we can make 30 to 35 million from selling Bakayoko, it would be absolutely brilliant business. There have been players that have come in over the Abramovich era at Chelsea where we spent good money and we look at it and just think we may as well just got that cash and just dropped it in the flipping toilet. I don't know why me throwing my phone into my left hand resembles throwing cash into the toilet, but you get my drift. Bakayoko is one of those players, and even though I do feel like somewhere in there is a very good footballer, I'm not going to discredit Bakayoko to the point of saying that if Chelsea don't sell him, I won't support him. That's never my attitude with Chelsea players. If Chelsea keeps somebody, I'd like to think it's for a good, valid reason, unless it's Danny Drinkwater. That one's just like the ship has sailed a long time ago, mate. So topic number 2 that we're going to discuss today, supposedly, Dries Mertens has snubbed, one of the words that the media just love to use in written form. They've snubbed Chelsea, Mertens and his team, in favour of a move to Inter Milan. Now, the Belgian's been in Italy for quite some time. Inter Milan, a club under a bit of a revolution under Antonio Conte. One of Chelsea's more underrated managers, I would say. I'll leave that argument to you guys in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the Conte era. But if I was Dries Mertens, I'd be looking at my situation right now. I'm in Italy. I've been in love with Napoli. Would I want to go to a rival to challenge for the Serie A title, even though Juventus are the team that are above and beyond. Inter Milan are working towards that. I would say a move to London would actually be preferable at this stage in his career, if I can get my words out correctly. However, if he wants to stay in Italy, fine, so be it. It's a free agent. I'm not going to give it any more airtime here on GBFC than I need to. Who knows if it's true, but if he's snubbed Chelsea, we don't want him anyway. So story number 3 that we're going to talk about today is the potential swap deal with Juventus. Maurizio Sarri has come banging on the door saying, "Oi Chelsea, you disrespected me. I won you the Europa League and now I want your midfield maestro Jorginho back at the club." It's not exactly how Maurizio Sarri speaks, but we're going to roll with that one because at the moment I'm expecting him to be a little bit aggressive banging on the door. It's Chelsea's Jorginho now. It was never Sarri's Jorginho. It was just an agenda that some fans had against the midfielder, and I will be the first one to sit here and say that there were times last season where I didn't get Jorginho. I was unaware of the qualities that he brought to the field. This season, I've been very impressed with Jorginho. There have been a couple of games where he's been disappointing, but it's the same with everybody in a Chelsea shirt this season. There's been some weeks where we look like one of the best teams in the country. Other weeks where I remember Bournemouth at home, Southampton at home. I'm watching the pitch thinking, this is atrocious. Like, this is absolutely no, this isn't good enough. Jorginho, this season, has come into his own at Chelsea. We can see that the man is determined. He has got an inner strength that a lot of footballers these days may not have. Things start to go sour for them. The fans start to turn on him. And a lot of players these days would just give up. They'd say, no, I want to get some money somewhere else and not be treated like a piece of proverbial shit. Chelsea fans, even though we gave Jorginho a bit of stick at times, or some of us did, this season, we've really come to see what he brings to the team. He brings passion, he brings that grit and determination and Italian heart. Italians are always known to play with their heart on their sleeve, and Jorginho does that. Not only that, but with Azpilicueta, slowly, even though people say I disrespect Azpi, I don't think I do. I'm just very much awake to the natural progression of Reece James into his position. If Azpi's going to be slowly eased out of the side, Jorginho, for me, is the only natural replacement as a captain. And for a captain, you sometimes can just give it to the best player on the pitch. If Eden Hazard was still here, and he still wanted to be at Chelsea, I'd have just given Hazard the captaincy. It would have been a way to keep him at the club. Jorginho is that natural leader. He can see a pass. His vision is fantastic. You see these little clips from earlier this season where he dribbles himself out of tight spaces as well. He's got a footballing mind, which is something that even though Chelsea have an abundance of midfielders, I think Jorginho's experience and the qualities that he brings to Chelsea are a good enough reason never to consider this swap deal if Jorginho is happy to stay. I understand that a move back to Italy, it's where he's from, it would be a natural move. It would be going back to play under Sarri, who likes to mould his game and his tactical style around someone of Jorginho's qualities. It would make sense for Jorginho to want the move, but in terms of Pjanic coming the other way, Pjanic is 2 years older than Jorginho. He's 30 years old. We know that Chelsea have this reluctancy to give longer contracts to 30-plus players. Is it really a move that would benefit Chelsea? I don't think it would be. I think we'd actually be getting rid of a better player to bring someone in who's not only older, but doesn't offer as much as Jorginho does. They're both not the quickest players in the world. Yes, Pjanic is one of the set-piece, dead ball maestros in world football. This noise is piddling me off now. There's 2 pigeons on the wall. Hello, boys. Considering the quality in the midfield, I think Pjanic would come in, maybe play a few games early next season, and then we'd slowly realise that we've already got better options at the club. Even though I do feel as though we might need to offload some midfielders this summer, I really hope on the George Benson Football Channel, as the host of this channel and show, I hope that we do not sell Jorginho to bring Miralem Pjanic the other way. It's something that I'm not a fan of, and I'd like to see Jorginho stay at Chelsea for at least a few more years. Speaking of players who may or may not be staying at Chelsea for a few more years, the final story we're going to talk about today is my just stupidity at forgetting that we have Ross Barkley still at the club. Considering, before football was taken away from us by this coronavirus, Ross Barkley was one of Chelsea's better players in the games after we were beaten by Bayern Munich. Particularly, the games against Liverpool and Everton, we really saw the Ross Barkley that we've been just dying to see since he signed for Chelsea. I remember when this channel was made, back in pre-season, he was doing very, very well. I thought that Ross was going to have a big part to play in Frank Lampard's Chelsea's debut season. I thought we were finally going to see him come through and fulfill that potential that has always been a story surrounding Ross Barkley. We know he can be a goal scorer. He can shoot from outside the box. He's got good passing range. He's got a good creative mind. to find that little intricate pass in behind the lines or between the lines when he's trying to cut open defences. We didn't see it enough. We saw too many sloppy performances. The biggest issue for Ross, in my opinion, was that he looked disinterested at times when he was on the pitch. He wasn't giving it everything. He's quite a big boy, and he can be a lot more boisterous when he's on the ball. And it's only been recently that we actually saw that. So when I was considering like, oh, we've not seen Ruben play in a Chelsea shirt for a whole year, when he comes back, Mount's had a very good season as well. I just didn't see how Ross could potentially fit, if we're buying more wingers, into that number 10 role, if we're going to move maybe Christian Pulisic back into a number 10 as well. Bringing up similar graphics to what we had yesterday, if Ross Barkley can continue the form and continue to develop on the form that we saw of him before football was taken away from us, I do feel as though there could be a role for Ross Barkley, be it in a 4-3-3, or maybe in the 4-2-3-1 that we experimented with yesterday, playing as the number 10, because he does have that vision, he's got that ability to kind of pull the strings in the middle, which I think is something that Chelsea could need. On the other hand, being English, if Ross does end this season, whatever it is, well, then Chelsea could be looking to be able to command a higher fee for Ross Barkley to a club that may want to buy him in the summer. That being said, we're going to go off of the form that we saw in the recent games prior to the coronavirus taking our beloved football away from us, and for that reason, I apologise to Ross Barkley, even though I highly doubt he's watching this flipping video, and I would personally love to see him being given another shot at Chelsea, which is going to make my decision in tomorrow's video about building this Chelsea midfield for the future even harder, because it gives us another player to flipping worry about. But anyway, today we've just done a little news video, a little update video on a couple of stories that have been circling the Chelsea community here online, and let me know, as always, what your thoughts are on the things we've discussed today in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys in the next video tomorrow. And I'm also working on a more longer kind of video for later on Sunday, which I think you guys are going to absolutely love. It's going to be like an animated story of the season so far, with personal stories, clips from the games that we've been to, and 6 things we've learned and stuff like that. It's going to be a really fun one. So if you've got yourself 30 minutes on Sunday, block it in, because the George Benson football channel will be delivering a banger to your sub box or your telephone. Anyway, I'll catch you all later. Bye bye.